The voicemail was clear. "Help me, room 7112. But when the traveler pressed the front desk, they insisted the room was empty. What began as cautious curiosity shifted to unease when the whispers in the messages sounded eerily like the voice from a 1921 archival interview with a maid who had vanished under mysterious circumstances. The final message, a chilling laugh followed by, "I'm right behind you," left no doubt that something was deeply wrong. Some hotel secrets hide far more than ghost stories. For Dr. Lillian Hart, checking into Hotel Emma meant stepping into a place where the past and present refused to stay separate.
Subscribe now and turn on notifications to never miss a story.
Room 7112 sat at the far end of a silent hallway, its door marked only by a tarnished number plate. Hotel Emma, nestled in San Antonio's historic Pearl District, wore its past with pride. Original brickwork, iron beams, a lingering sense that secrets still live behind every wall. Lillian Hart checked in, officially as a researcher, but her real purpose was rooted in the hotel's darkest chapter. The story of a maid who vanished during the Prohibition-era had drifted through criminology circles for years, always tied to rumors of hidden tunnels and untraceable guests. Lillian's own history as a whistleblower kept her alert, every footstep echoing with a tension she couldn't shake. Every night at 3:17 a.m., the lobby clock froze exactly when the coroner logged the maid's disappearance. Staff blamed old machinery, but the explanation never changed, no matter who asked. When Lillian inquired about room 712, the receptionist's smile faltered. "That room's closed for renovations," she said, her voice too flat, her eyes darting away. The bellhop avoided Lillian's questions about the maid, his silence more telling than any answer. By her third night, Lillian's sleep fractured. She woke to muffled crying through the heating vent, a sound too deliberate to dismiss his pipes. She listened closely, recognizing the pitch and cadence from an archival recording, a rare 1921 interview with the missing maid. The voice was unmistakable. During the day, the hotel library became her refuge. As she sifted through brittle guest registers, her hand brushed a hidden seam behind the shelves. Inside, she found a leather-bound ledger listing special guests, all with check-in dates, none with checkouts. Each name, when cross-referenced with old newspaper clippings, matched a local disappearance, always 3 days apart. The pattern was impossible to ignore. An elderly janitor stopped her near the service elevator, pressing a folded napkin into her palm. The note inside read, "They're still using the old tunnels." Only later, tracing her fingers along the ledger's cover, did she notice a faintly etched map. That night, she followed the route to a forgotten maintenance stairwell. The basement air was thick with the smell of bleach and damp stone. On the far wall, cots with restraints lined up beneath flickering lights. In a side room, a woman in a hotel uniform sorted passports with recent dates, stacking them beside a suitcase stuffed with cash. Lillian recognized the operation structure from her research into Prohibition-era smuggling at the Pearl. Brewery compartmentalized tasks, off-the-books ledgers, movement through hidden tunnels. The hotel's haunted reputation masked something far more organized. She pressed the ledger to her chest, heart pounding as the truth settled in. The walls around her seemed to hum with secrets, as if the building itself remembered every disappearance. The silence in the tunnels was absolute, broken only by the faintest suggestion of a voice, one she couldn't quite place, but would soon hear again. Whispers threaded through the walls of Hotel Emma, surfacing in ways both subtle and unmistakable. Lillian's digital recorder, left running overnight, picked up more than the creaks and sighs of an old building. When she played the file back, a voice emerged between the silences. "Gelled odor. Laban." The phrase repeated, low and urgent, unmistakably German. It was Otto Kohler's native tongue. Kohler, founder of the brewery that became this hotel, whose legacy seemed to linger in every shadowed corridor. Lillian ran the audio through forensic software, isolating the frequencies. The patterns didn't match ambient noise or mechanical sounds. These were voices, layered and deliberate. Her findings brought her to Dr. Vogel, the hotel's resident historian. Vogel listened, unmoved, and dismissed the whispers as tricks of acoustics. "Old buildings breathe," she said, not quite meeting Lillian's eyes. But when Lillian mentioned meeting Emma 3, the current head housekeeper, Vogel's pen jerked, blotting her margin in a spidery red smear, an unconscious echo of Otto's dark past. At the exact moment the lobby clock had frozen, her room TV flickered to life. Static resolved into a grayscale image, a maid in a 1920s uniform, lips moving in silence. Captions flashed across the screen. "See Bobachton, ditch. They're watching you." The screen went dark before Lillian could react. The next morning, her laptop connected to a Wi-Fi network not listed in the guest directory, Kohler_herb. Instinct from her investigation days kicked in. She used original brewery schematics and file in the Pearl District archives to trace hidden Wi-Fi conduits. Behind the firewall, she found encrypted files labeled Liefrungen 2023. Cargo manifests. Blurred passport photos and reservation codes matched the ledger's special guests. It was a digital trail of movements and disappearances hidden in plain sight. Emma 3 cornered her in the linen closet. The name tag on her uniform matched the one from the archival photo of the missing maid down to the serial number. "You shouldn't poke holes in walls," she whispered, folding towels with mechanical precision. "Things leak out." The next morning, Emma's locker was empty, and housekeeping claimed she'd transferred. The whispers grew louder at night. Forensic analysis revealed not just one voice, but many layered, overlapping, speaking phrases like "bezalong flick" and "kinda zugon." Metadata in the audio files stretched across decades, yet the background hum was always the same. It was as if the hotel itself was transmitting warnings, not just echoes. A coded receipt appeared under her door. A room number circled 7 times. The 7th floor maid's cart bore stains she tried not to examine too closely. Lillian managed to palm a master key, but the elevator demanded a key card she didn't have. Security cameras panned away as she neared the stairwell, and staff seemed to move in silent coordination, always a step ahead. The encrypted files updated daily. One folder held employee headshots, half marked with red X's. Her own photo sat beside a reservation. Zimmer, 712. Eintritt Freitag. The warning was clear. Shipment schedules matched laundry truck routes. Guest records showed no-shows whose credit cards kept accruing charges. Reception always called room service for these guests, never housekeeping. Just as she prepared to send her findings to the FBI, the hotel Wi-Fi died. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "The brewery tours historic tunnels at midnight. Would you like a private showing?" Attached was a photo Emma, EA's Namatag, now hanging from a cellar door. The timestamp was only minutes old. Lillian stared at her demagnetized keycard, feeling the weight of the invitation. The television in Lillian's room snapped on at precisely 3 a.m. Static gave way to grainy, black and white footage. The hotel's service corridors, then a narrow tunnel lined with bricks slick from decades of condensation. The camera's viewpoint shifted, revealing masked figures moving in single file, their hands gripping the shoulders of blindfolded guests. A taller figure paused, removed her mask. Dr. Vogel's sharp features visible in the dim glow. She checked her watch, then gestured the group toward a camera embedded in the tunnel wall. The feed cut sharply to a shot of room for 12's empty bed, the sheets undisturbed. A live timestamp blinked in the corner. The camera panned toward the bathroom door. Metal tapping echoed from behind the wall, slow, deliberate, and unmistakably rhythmic. Lillian recognized the pattern, a memory from her research into the brewery's old heating pipes. She grabbed her notebook, translating the Morse code that echoed through the radiator. HLPUs. The bathroom door never opened, but a dark liquid crept from underneath, pooling on the tiled floor. The broadcast ended abruptly as the hotel's Wi-Fi failed, leaving the room in silence. Lillian hurried to room 412. Her keycard failed, the reader flashing red before going dark. The handle twisted from inside, letting out a rush of cold air. A voice whispered from the darkness, "See Kanan Nick Telfin. You can't help." She braced her foot against the threshold, but the door slammed shut, the force rattling the numbers on the plaque. Later reviewing security footage at the front desk, Lillian found only empty hallways, except for one anomaly at 3:17 a.m. A woman lingered outside room 412, her hair styled in soft finger waves straight from the 1920s. The date stamp read October 17th, 1923, when the woman turned. Lillian saw her own face reflected in the grainy image, a cold recognition tightening her chest. Dr. Vogel intercepted her in the service elevator, pressing the emergency stop. "The Kohler Brewery shipped more than beer," she said, her voice steady. She handed Lillian a ledger page dated 2004. Lillian's name printed beside room 712 decades before her birth. Lillian said nothing, her mind racing. She backed up every surveillance file she could find onto an encrypted drive, including the strange 1923 footage. Forensic file recovery would be her only hope if the data was damaged. Brief manifests in the encrypted files listed addresses that matched orphanages closed after abuse scandals, but most of the evidence began corrupting during transfer. Images blurred, audio reversed itself, fragments flickered and disappeared. Only a handful of clear frames remained, Vogel shaking hands with uniformed men, a child's drawing labeled Hotel Emma, and one phrase from the security feed, "Payment arrives at moonless midnight." Housekeeping knocked just as Lillian found Emma III's employee file. The photo showed a woman with a scar across her throat. Her start date, August 1922. The digital fingerprint matched the current Emma's file exactly, an impossibility for records nearly a century old. Lillian's hand shook as she realized the implications. She stared at the jumble of corrupted files and the map on her phone. Vogel's keycard hung from the doorframe across the hall, the security camera above it dead. Her heart hammered as she weighed her next move, whether to run or to confront the truth that the hotel's legacy was built on secrets no one wanted revealed. Before sunrise, Lillian mailed the encrypted drive to an investigative journalist, using a fake return address. At checkout, the clerk slid her a receipt with a handwritten note. "Ask about our historic tours." The ledger's final entry echoed in her mind, Heart L deposit received. Outside, a black van idled near the taxi stand, its presence impossible to ignore. Lillian's resolve as a whistleblower never wavered. She exposed a modern trafficking ring built on the same Prohibition-era tunnels that once hid smuggled goods beneath Hotel Emma. Some truths demand to be told, no matter the risk. Have you ever experienced something unexplainable in a hotel? Share your story in the comments below.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more exciting content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.